Curtains, an extract from the anthology Vivid Shades of Horror by John Wing. Stuart Malcolm Reid had found new purpose to his existence, and it was all thanks to a simple app that reminded him each day that he was going to die. He was really quite thankful. Instead of going home, he did an extra long workout at the gym, lifting weights, using the treadmill and then the rowing boat. After that, he decided to wander around the city. When had he last done that? Never. London had only ever been a backdrop. Now he was taking in some of the sights, including a cruise down the Thames. He realised he should have done this ages ago. He felt a better and happier person for being this impulsive. He just got off the boat when his phone had that same message with a new reference, this time by Thomas Fuller. The first breath is the beginning of death. It was 5 p.m. Stuart went home, got changed and had a brief snack before he went in the car to pick up his girlfriend. The plane was delayed by 30 minutes. He soon spotted her among the throng, tall, slender, blonde, shoulder-length hair, wearing a burgundy dress. Taking her case, they kissed and made a beeline for the car. "How was it?" Stuart asked as he exited the multi-storey car park. "Not too bad. Dad seemed to be in good health." "That's good." Stuart came to a gentle halt at some traffic lights. Francesca happened to look down at his phone in the small storage compartment beneath the radio. She saw a message on its screen. "Don't forget, you're going to die." Somewhat bemused by it, she asked, "What's that?" Stuart eyed his Samsung. "Oh, that? It's an app I recently downloaded." He drove off as the lights turned green. "Tap on it and see what the quote is." She did. She read it out aloud. "Death is the wish of some, the relief of many, and the end of all." She looked up at him. "It's rather morbid, isn't it?" "That's what I thought when Richard told me about the app. But I thought, well, it's a little bit different, so I downloaded it. I don't think I'd like to be reminded about my dying." Stuart stopped at a junction. Once clear, he turned right. "I must admit, I find it liberating." "It will give me the creeps." Stuart laughed. "What's the app called?" "Curtains." Even creepier. Changing the subject a little, she asked, "And how is Richard, by the way?" "Strangely enough, I haven't seen him for a couple of days. I've tried to ring him a few times. All I get is his voicemail." "A bit odd, don't you think? If I don't hear from him in the next day or two, I'll pop round and see him." Francesca yawned. "I'm so tired. Do you mind if you drop me off at my place?" "Of course not. We can meet for lunch tomorrow." "That'd be great," Stuart agreed. 15 minutes later, Stuart parked outside her flat, kissed her and drove home. Nearly an hour later, he was fast asleep in his own bed. Sitting on the terrace of the Churchill bar, tucked away behind Oxford Street, Stuart and Francesca had finished their light lunch. Stuart was about to confide in his girlfriend regarding his recent decision when she blurted out, "Oh my God!" Concerned, Stuart asked, "What is it?" "Look," she pointed. "Look!" Stuart twisted his head in the direction she indicated. A smartly dressed man had his back to them, reading a paper. Stuart couldn't help but see the stark headline that boldly proclaimed, "Man found dead." Beneath this was a photo of a 30-year-old man. What stunned him, as it had Francesca, was the picture. It was his best friend and work colleague. Stuart approached the stranger. "Excuse me, sir. I wonder if I may borrow your newspaper?" The moustached man eyed his watch. "No problem. There's not much in it anyway. You can keep it." He handed Stuart the Evening Standard and left the establishment. Together, they both read the article which informed the reader that 30-year-old Richard Blakely had fallen downstairs and broken his neck. "I can't believe it." "Nor can I," Stuart remarked vaguely. He added, "That explains why I couldn't reach him." "What are you going to do?" "Find out when the funeral is. I want to come as well." "That would be appreciated." Later that day, Stuart rang Richard's parents. After an awkward dialogue, he was told that the funeral was this coming Thursday. He promised to be there. It was this that drove home for Stuart the need to escape his mundane existence. More than ever, he realised life was more precious than ever. He couldn't help but be reminded of the constant phrase that he read every day: "Don't forget, you're going to die." The funeral was a typical affair, followed by a wake of close family and friends. It was here that he had told Francesca of his decision to live life more spontaneously and not bother with work for a few weeks at least. Although reticent about his conclusion, she understood, especially with Richard's death. Afterwards, they went to his place. In the morning, she rose from bed at 6 a.m. and, not wanting to disturb him, made for work. Stuart awoke later than usual at gone 8. He grabbed his phone and saw the same message which had come through an hour earlier. But it wasn't the same 6 words, not quite anyway. This time it read, "Today, you're going to die." He tapped the text and read the first quote of the day by Walter Scott. Death, the last sleep? No, it is the final awakening. Still groggy from waking up, he initially believed he had misinterpreted the sentence. But no, he hadn't. He definitely showed as today. Stuart brushed it off as some glitch, a software malfunction. Without further consideration, he jumped out of bed, showered, and put on casual clothes. He was going to indulge, firstly by having a full English breakfast. He hadn't done this for months, maybe longer. He hopped on the tube and made for central London. He located a giraffe restaurant and ordered their fry-up. He enjoyed every morsel. Finishing his coffee, he phoned his boss saying he wouldn't be in work for 10 days, emphasising he was owed some time anyway. Although it was incredibly short notice, his boss reluctantly agreed. Stuart made Jack in his job altogether, but he would wait a while before confirming this. The next thing was to find a jeweller. Located on Bond Street was Frost of London. He was greeted by a bold, tall gentleman wearing a dark blue 3-piece suit. Stuart informed him he was interested in purchasing a watch. The man led him to the glass cabinet containing 30 or so watches. Stuart stooped to take a closer look. There were 2 that caught his eye. The shopkeeper retrieved both of them. On closer inspection, he preferred the look of the Bulgari. He put it on his left wrist. The rubber strap felt very comfortable. Stuart considered the watch's hexagon shape and grey titanium material to be very stylish. "I'll take it." "Very good, sir." "Would sir like it gift wrapped?" "I'll take it as it is." "Very good, sir. That will be £6,100, please." Stuart handed over his MasterCard. With the transaction completed, he exited the shop and phoned Francesca. "How's it going?" Francesca's carefree voice came back. "Fine, but busy. I was thinking, let's go on holiday." "When?" "In the next couple of days." Francesca didn't reply immediately. "Are you still there?" "Yes, but it's very short notice, isn't it? Plus, I've only just come back from seeing Dad." "You can make some excuse. It's not as easy as that." She paused. "Let me think about it. I'll get back to you." "Don't be long. I'll speak to you later." With that, she hung up. Stuart slipped his Samsung into his back trouser pocket when it vibrated, letting him know a message had come through. He instantly withdrew it. The text starkly asserted, "Today you're going to die." Instead of the usual accompanying quote, this time it read, "You will die in 5 hours." Stuart gawped at the screen, reading each word again and again as if in defiance. But there was no mistaking it. The words plainly declared the same clear, unequivocal statement that he was going to die in 5 hours. What did it mean? It was ludicrous. That's what it was. Sheer lunacy. Utter nonsense, he mused. He looked at his new watch. It was 10:30. That would make it 3:30. No, he muttered to himself. This is ridiculous. It just can't be. Adamant that it was all twaddle, he shoved his phone into his trouser pocket. To take his mind off disturbing event, he was going to Madame Tussauds. He caught the Jubilee line to Baker Street Underground Station and then made the 3-minute walk to the Waxwork Museum. He paid the £35 entry fee. He hadn't been here since he was a child. It had changed a lot since then, now being much larger and more entertaining. It was busy, but not overly crowded, thankfully. Stuart had to admit that most of the mannequins were very lifelike, be it royalty such as the Queen and Prince Philip, or political figures like Boris Johnson and Donald Trump, or celebrities, dead or living, such as Patrick Stewart, Tom Cruise, Steven Spielberg, Charlie Chaplin and Freddie Mercury, all of which you could stand next to, or in the case of Steven Spielberg, sit in the director's chair and take selfies. Both young and old were doing just that. Even Stuart couldn't resist the urge of doing the same. He took a photo of himself stood next to 2 Sherlock Holmes, one portrayed by Benedict Cumberbatch and the other Robert Downey Jr. Although he could have stayed longer, by 12:30 he opted to leave. When he stepped outside, his phone vibrated against his thigh. He instantly retrieved it and saw the message. Today, you're going to die. He tapped on the inflammatory statement, only to read the blunt wording of, you will die in 3 hours. If you're intrigued how this story continues, it is available to download or purchase as a paperback from Amazon in my anthology, Vivid Shades of Horror.